do you know, I think people were so appalled and shocked by what had happened and the disappearance of Joanna, and it was an intriguing thing, if that's the right word. Where's she gone? What's happened? What were her movements? And I think when she was found, people were deeply saddened, the whole nation, that she was found on Christmas Day. And I think, in a way, that was probably turned on Christopher with the help of certain individuals in the press and certain newspapers. So it was redirected towards him, and, you know, I think people wanted to have a resolution, to find a reason why this had happened, so...
And when did you spend much time with him? Because, you know, the mannerisms, obviously, I don't know the man, just from what we've seen in the press, but did you spend a long time with him, or did you study footage?
I did. I just thought, you know, if I can impersonate him well, then everything else will follow. The sensitivities of the case and respect for her and for him. If I could impersonate him well, then everything else would follow. So, yeah, we went to meet him, me and the director, Roger Michelle, and we sat down, we went through the script. And because Roger was talking to him, I was sat back so I could watch Christopher. Because I did meet him earlier, and I was like we are now, and I didn't hear a word he said. I was just looking at the way he moved, and he took me. He called me.
Yeah, but your performance went way, way beyond an impersonation. But when you received the award, you made such a moving speech. Who did you dedicate it to?
Well, I dedicated it to my daughter. I mean, you know, there were so many links between my life and this piece, and one of them was obviously, you know, the loss of Joanna, her daughter, and my wife Clara Francis. We'd lost. There's Maude now, we had lost her sort of about 2 years previous to you know, she actually died on New Year's Day, New Year's morning, a few days after Joanna was found. So I remember the case. And then we were swept up in events on that Christmas.
And she was, Jason, only 2 years old?
2.5, yeah.
And this was something called sepsis.
Well, she died of influenza, so it's flu, and a sepsis. And not many people know what sepsis is. And I've been talking this morning to the sepsistrust.org, which is a group championing what sepsis is. And it's basically where the immune system overreacts to an infection, and it results in organ failure, and so she suffered from that, and it's masked by the symptoms of flu. So
is it very hard to diagnose?
It is extremely difficult, and, you know, there was an inquest, etc., and every individual who was involved in the medical process had done their job, and at that time the medical practices were adhered to, but I think it is difficult to detect, and there's a thing called Sepsis 6, which is a way of educating professional medical people as to try and read those signs, and that's being rolled out at the moment in trial throughout the country, and so things are moving.
And had you planned to mention Maude? I mean, obviously you're not even expecting to win, but you maybe hope, and you've got a speech in your head of some sort, or did that just...
No, I had both scenarios, losing and winning, which I think, if people are honest, that's what you have. You think you're going to win, and then you think you're going to lose. And I thought, well, if I'm going to win, I'm going to do it properly. And I'd always intended to mention her, because I think I was motivated to work so hard to help my family, my wife, and my family through what we'd been through. And part of it was to utterly dedicate myself to this particular role because of the sensitivities that were around. But so I had written it. I mean, I neglected to mention my agent, who's recovering from a cancer operation, and she's doing very well. That's Ruth, and I want to say hi to her.
Hello, Ruth.
And so, so I neglected to mention her. And my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, Judy, and Dennis. So
there you go.